I want you to pay attention to this exposition. This is the very reason why Boko Haram, which they were answering, Boko Haram, from Boko Haram to Islamic jihadists, from Islamic jihadists to Fulani headsmen, transitioning from one name to the other. This is the reason why this wicked group that has been committing genocide in Nigeria, this is the reason why it was formed. Just pay attention to this exposition.
Get an alarm through a letter you transmitted to the National Assembly, the Senate specifically. And in that letter, in fact, you touched the whole world. You copied the UN, you copied ILO, you copied the Conference of Bishops in Africa, Asia, Europe. You touched everywhere in the world. And you talked about a planned genocide of doctors in Nigeria. It's very disturbing. Can you explain or expand on that and let us know what is happening really?
Yes, thank you very much for highlighting this issue. The alarm was raised again because we've talked about this in the past, that when the Global Fund, through the Federal Ministry of Health, started sending people for the third survey of health professionals and private health institutions, they were going around collecting data of location and personnel in all private hospitals in Nigeria. And this data they are actually collecting, that's totally unconstitutional. You cannot collect private data for any purpose first without seeking the consent of the organizations involved, personal consent of the people involved, and explaining to them what this data is for. One, a foreign agent cannot collect data in Nigeria. So the Global Fund, funded by Bill Gates, has no locus to collect any data because health is national security and the data is protected under the 1999 Constitution. So they were not supposed to do that in the first place. Now, let's see the history of this data collection. They had approached the association. Then I was the chairman of the Association of Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria, Imo State, and we went to a national council, national executive meeting in Aba, and they came there to ask us that they want to collect data from the Global Fund funded by Bill Gates.
Just a minute, sir. Is it the Bill Gates group that approached, or they approached you through an intermediary?
No, the Bill Gates group was funding an NGO who came to make a presentation at the National Executive Council meeting, telling us they want the data to make yellow pages. Yellow pages, and this was for doctors. And what was this? Yellow pages for doctors, so that they can have a directory where all the doctors are. Now they were asking for a number of things. They were asking for photographs, they were asking for fingerprints with biometric data, and they were asking for location, how many staff, who are the staff, the telephone numbers, and all that. We patiently had them out, and after that, hearing them out, we now told them to excuse us, and they left. And when they left, we now started putting things together. First of all, it would be illegal under medical ethics to have such a directory because called yellow pages, because that will be primarily advertising, which is not allowed ethically. Secondly, they were a foreign agent because they have no right. This is national security. Just like going to a police station, I want to know all the policemen here, all the police stations, where their locations are, their phone numbers, and all that. The Nigerian police will just arrest you for doing that, even asking them. So the same thing is health. Health is under national security and is all protected. If you were to have the information of all the police locations, you can wipe out the police, so they will not get protected. The same thing if you were to know all the locations and telephone numbers of the doctors and the health personnel, you can also wipe the whole health personnel. And what will happen? So we will not have a health system. Then we have to now depend on a foreign health system, which we do not know the consequences. So when we noticed that this was happening, and coincidentally, we now got a message, an SOS message from Benue, that in Boko, a town in Benue, that a pharmacist, a famous pharmacist, was killed by the doctors. So now, that's what was alleged. And so now a group of mercenaries of Boko Haram, they call them, we are now seeking all the doctors to kill them. And the doctors had gone into hiding. So we now...
When did this happen?
This happened that was in 2013, I think. And then we said, wait a minute, how come? They said, no, there was a professional field that the doctor said that the pharmacist was attending to and taking away their patients, and the pharmacist denied it, and all of a sudden they killed they alleged that the doctors killed the pharmacist, and now the pharmacist and their association hired some mercenaries to go and kill the doctors. So we now understood that actually this was a setup, and a well-conspired setup by the people who were talking to us, the Bill Gates organization, and they were using their mercenaries to attack doctors. So we really understood that the people who were talking to us were, even before they got a formal cooperative MOU from us to participate in their program, they were already going to the fields and collecting data, because the doctors didn't know, who in different localities didn't know exactly what this was all about. And then we now realize the plan that they were building up a
database.
Yes, a GPS guided mapping, as they called it, the mapping of all the hospitals and the health professionals, and using the GPS in their phones to be able to track all the doctors and the medical personnel. They have their numbers. So this raised an alarm, and we were able to alert people, and all of a sudden, under the Buhari administration, things seem to have piped down. Now, immediately after Buhari's administration came to an end, they came up again with the so-called third phase of this survey. So this whole new program is what they are on now, to map and target and kill the doctors. This was exactly what they did for the farmers. Bill Gates donated, in quote, 14 million cell phones, which they call the electronic wallets. The idea was that they were going to give 2 billion naira loan or grant to farmers. What the plan, as far as the doctors are concerned, is that the doctors of Nigeria are the people who should, according to their plan, collect the eggs of women, which will now be used for the cloning procedure we call somatic cell nuclear transfer. And this is what I want to explain, what this is all about.
Okay.
Now, what the West is looking at is that they envisage a new human industry. The new human industry will make it possible to replace organ parts of sick people, instead of continuously taking drugs for any medical condition. So what that means is that if you have a heart disease and you go to a doctor, the doctor will could take a sample from that your diseased heart, send it to the biotech companies, which are actually, most of them in this category are owned by Bill Gates. They will now clone exactly that heart of that person. And how will they do this? they will take the cell the doctor sent them and remove the nuclear material, that's the nucleus that has all the genetic information. Now they will get the egg of a woman, or eggs of women, because they will need several eggs for this. They will remove the nucleus on that egg and then transfer the nucleus from that disease heart into that egg. So that's what we call somatic cell nuclear transfer. So when they transfer it and then they keep it in a culture to grow into a heart, replicating the exact heart of that diseased person, but now that heart will be brand new without disease. They can now send that heart back to the doctor and they will now implant it into the patient. And of course the person must have paid maybe $2 million or $1 million or whatever the cost involved. But this process of doing this is a manual process.
Remember, yes, this transplant has to do with, when you, after the process, the heart becomes a brand new, because they've cloned a brand new heart. We very well know that these people, they have technology, but I also want to say something here, because we don't know the effects of these things. We don't know the effect. We don't know if the person is going to be a real human being or someone, a robot that they will be manipulating. They can easily ask the person to do whatever it is that they want the person to do, and the person will execute it. The reason why I'm saying this is this: there is nothing good that will come from this person known as Bill Gates. Nothing good comes from him. So if you are saying that it is actually a procedure where a body part can be reproduced and it becomes brand new with no effect, I might agree with you based on that. But if it is actually true, just like you said, and I believe, yes, it is possible, because I know these people, they have technology. If this is actually true, it means that it will not be for everybody. It will be for them, for the big all these big elites, just like Bill Gates and the rest of them. It will just be for the few of them. It will not be for everybody, no matter how many millions that you want to pay. But if actually Bill Gates will make this to be for everybody, if you can be able to afford it, it means that there is something wrong with it. There is something that is wrong with it, because I know Bill Gates, nothing good comes from that man. Anyway, let's go ahead. Listen.
Making this transfer into the egg of a woman. So the eggs of women could be taken in hundreds just to do one procedure. So they will need about 100 million eggs, which will come from 10 million women. So when they looked at the map of the world and saw where on earth can we get up to 10 million women to donate egg, when they looked at Nigeria, it looked very much promising for them. Okay. So Nigeria has the population over 250 million people, about that now. But one has to understand, why do they need to kill the doctors? They kill the farmers because they wanted.
Okay, another thing I want to emphasize here is that they did not come to Nigeria because Nigeria has the population. There are other people that the population is very much bigger than Nigeria's. The reason why they came to Nigeria is because they have Nigeria in their pockets. They are the people that installed the people that are ruling us. You can imagine the wickedness that is going on in Nigeria today. So it is coming from these people. They have Nigeria, everything that has to do with Nigeria, starting from their military, their banking system, their even their court system, where laws are being made. They have these people in their pockets. So that is why they came to Nigeria, because they know they can achieve whatever it is that they want to achieve in Nigeria, and no questions asked.
Make sure they eliminate all the seed growers in the country. So when they eliminate the seed growers, the natural seeds will never be available again. And how they did that was very simple. What they did was that they just gave 14 million cell phones to all Nigerian farmers, so they could track those people who were being paid for seeds.
Okay.
So when other farmers go to them, they go to buy seeds, and then they know that this person was being paid for seeds. So he's the one selling the seeds. So they now use the GPS coordinates on these so-called electronic wallets, which are just cell phones, to target all of them and eliminate them. When you eliminate the seed, natural seed growers, there will be no other alternative to the GMO, genetically modified organisms, foods and seeds. So they brought these seeds as improved seeds. The other farmers, they drove them into IDP camps and came to these IDP camps under the different NGOs and international agencies.
Let me make something clear here. So because of the birth of GMOs, that is the reason why these people, farmers, were being killed right from the onset. It has been for how many years now? They have been expressing this genocide across the whole country, especially in the north there. So it was because of the birth of GMOs. That is why we say, when you anywhere you see the spirit of Satan, in as in where Satan operates, Satan will always want to control. That is it. So anywhere you see the spirit of God, the spirit of God will always want to lead. But when it comes to Satan, control is his own. So the reason why, because the history behind the GMOs is not just false. This is true. This is just the actual truth. Is that when you plant the GMOs once, it will grow once and you cannot replicate it again, which means that after that first one, after that first growth, if you want to plant it again, you have to go back to the place where you got it, where you bought the seeds, and get it from them again. So this is all about talking about control. So this is a way of making you to keep quiet. They control the seeds, which means they control the food. And if they control the food, they can control everybody. Which means you cannot stay out of their jurisdiction, because if you cannot produce what you can eat by yourself, it means that you will keep on going to them. So which means that they have you under control. When they ask you to do anything, you cannot oppose them. Did you see where all these things is coming from? So now looking at the farmers that are producing these seeds, the reason why they have to take them out is because they want to stop these natural seeds that God gave us. So they want to stop it. They want to eliminate the production of natural seeds. So that is why they are going for all these farmers. Now you see how they started it, like how he mentioned. And this is just the real truth. This is the actual fact. So they came up with the idea of loan. They want to give loan or grant, not just loan. They call it grant. They want to give grant to farmers, and grant that runs in millions. You see the good news that they came with. That is why so after proposing that they want to give grant to these farmers, they gave them cell phones, which they use in tracking them, and they have been killing these farmers, stopping the production of these natural seeds. So did you see why I told you from the beginning? I told you that there is nothing good that will come from this man called Bill Gates. When this West, when they came, anytime you see them coming up with a kind of proposition, that when you hear it, you say, this is very, very good. Oh man, this is very, very good. This will bring development. There is something behind it that you don't know. There is something, there is an evil, there is wickedness that is attached to it that you don't know. So you see how they came with the proposition that they want to give grant to farmers, and they use that to give them cell phones, which they are using to kill them, to track them and to kill them. Anyway, let's go ahead.
Presented these GMO seeds. So the farmers will now leave. They will temporarily halt their military activities in those areas. So the farmers will go and resettle. When they resettle, they start planting the GMO seeds. Once you plant the GMO seeds that first time, that first seed you get from that your maize, if you eat it, that will be the last you are going to eat. because if you take the seed from that GMO corn and plant it, it will not grow. The gene that allows replication has been switched off. So you have to go back to the person who produced the initial seed. That is, in this case in Nigeria, it will be Monsanto. They will now use them to reproduce these seeds. So these seeds are what actually makes the agricultural produce to move on. So they are using this technique to eliminate all the natural seed growers. And then when the remaining farmers don't have any other place to get seeds than to go to them for that. Now, where do the doctors come in? The doctors come in the fact that when they capture the food security, which they actually have done now, because most of the seed growers have been killed. Just to give you an example, between 2015 and 2018, 37,500 victims were killed by Boko Haram. These were farmers. Then of these 37,500, 32,000, that's 85%, were Muslims. 5,500 were Christians. And in states like Zamfara, 60% of the victims were Hausa, 40% were Fulani. So it became clear that this has nothing to do with Islamic terrorism. It has to do with elimination of all the seed growers. Now they have eliminated the seed.
Did you see the reason why I told you guys? This is the reason why, because I have been thinking, I've been trying to place my mind on this puzzle, trying to solve this puzzle, but I cannot. I have been thinking, I have been trying to do that, but it has remained impossible. So this is just the clear image, because you cannot tell me that the Fulani jihadists, people that claim to be Fulanis, are also killing the Fulanis themselves. And when some people in the southern part of Nigeria, like the Igbos, when they hear this, they will say, okay, anyway, since they are killing themselves, it's good for them. But me, I have been trying to solve this puzzle. Why is it that they said what they are fighting for, and they are still killing their people? So it becomes clear that this organization, this Bill Gates organization, and this wicked set of people, these Westerners, 80% of food that is in Nigeria do come from northern side of Nigeria. So since it is from the northern side of Nigeria, what they do is that since they want the control, they started from there. So the reason why you see all these incidents, you hear all this insecurity, all this killing of people, and all this genocide that is being perpetuated by Fulani headsmen, which we are being told, is because they want to eliminate farmers, so that there will be shortage of food, production of food. That is just the reason why this genocide has been going on for so many years now. For how many years now it has been going on, just to make things difficult. And now they have succeeded. And they are succeeding. They kept on. This thing is still on. You see, this is just to kill farmers, to eliminate the amount of food that is being produced in Nigeria. Think about it, you yourself. Just think about it. How will you tell me that Fulani jihadis, Fulani people, Fulani men that are fighting for a just cause is also killing the people that they are protecting? The people that they are saying that they are fighting for, everybody.
Now they're moving into the second phase of their program. Now, when the farmers go to them, we now depend exclusively on the GMOs.
So we now depend on GMOs right now?
Exactly. Because without the GMOs, you cannot really get seeds, unless we are getting seeds from different African countries and some places. Some places in the south, especially southwest, and some parts of southeast, we can still get our own seeds, because the Boko Haram have not really been infiltrated there. But they are trying to do.
So this actually means that they are also coming here. They are just dealing with the north first, which is the place that they know that the 80% of food that is being produced in Nigeria is coming from. So after that, they will also still come to southeast. They are coming.
So what is happening now is that they want to move into the next phase. The next phase is whereby they will have total monopoly of the seeds, and then they will tell the farmers, you want us to give you seed. Okay, we can give you seed, but on the premise that you must tell your wife and daughters to go and donate their ovarian eggs.
There's a conditional gift. No?
Conditional gift. Food, that is, if you want food, you have to donate ovarian eggs, the eggs of women. And why do they have to do that? They have to do that because the Western countries need these ovarian eggs for cloning. Nigeria is the only country in the world and in the history of the world which has legalized collection of organs without consent. So your organ, which you own, which is your person, if you go to the hospital, they can collect that organ without your consent, because it states in the National Health Act of 2014 and 2015, actually signed in 2015, states that you can actually collect that organ without consent. In section 48 and 51 of the National Health Act 2014 version of it, actually states that you can collect that organ without consent. You can collect organ and you can collect the gametes, that is the eggs of women, without consent of the patient.
That's very dangerous.
That's very dangerous, but it was allowed into law. I personally led the doctors' delegation in the National Assembly hearing, at the Senate hearing, and pointed this out before Ike Ekweremadu, before Governor, the main proponent of the law, who was Ifeanyi Okowa, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa then. Okay. And then, of course, Ngige was also, Senator Ngige then was also present at that public hearing. I pointed this out, that you cannot do this under any law, but they overruled the public hearing, and Senator Ekweremadu, who was the person who was conducting the public hearing, did not heed to all the calls by all the people present. And what happened? They passed the law with this defect. So all the people who are waiting to harvest organs, harvest eggs, are all.
If you go to hospital now, your life is in danger, especially hospitals that is being owned by the government. So they have their wicked set of people that are in the government now. So you can imagine a law that is being passed, that when you go to hospital, a doctor or whatever it is can collect your organs without your consent. Can you imagine the wickedness that is being passed in Nigeria? And Nigeria happens to be the only country that this law has been passed. Can you see the wickedness that is coming from these Westerners? Can you see the influence they have in Nigeria alone? Can you see the influence? Now, did you see the reason why Ike Ekweremadu, the hand of God, did not allow him to escape for doing that, for passing that wickedness? Okay, after passing that wickedness, it was the reason why he took that small boy to London, because he wanted to save her daughter. So that was the reason why he allowed that law to be passed in Nigeria. And the hand of God did not allow him to go scot-free. Did you hear the story now? Ike Ekweremadu, that is in prison now in UK. I just wish he would rot in jail there. Can you imagine the wickedness of these Westerners in Nigeria? They've gone so deep. They have the Nigerian government in their pockets. They are the ones making laws. Is this not colonization?
Nigeria, they are setting up their different NGOs. Can you explain why there is a multiplicity of NGOs in the Northeast, where there is a conflict going on?
Yeah, okay. Doc, I will come back to this. But what I want to ask now, why is Bill Gates focused on Nigerian doctors?
Yes.
Can you address that?
Before he's focused on Nigerian doctors because he now wants to harvest these eggs, and doctors are the people going to harvest these eggs. These are going to be in hospitals, but Nigerian doctors, he knows, because of our high moral standard, and I must say very high moral standard, our doctors will not do that, because our doctors know that if you keep on harvesting those eggs in those women 2 to 3 years later they will die. They will die of liver failure, kidney failure, infections, some other complications. So we know that that's going to happen. So we're not going to do that. And when he called us, and I must say, I was physically present when Bill Gates called us through the General Electric, who he awarded the contract to build 260 hospitals in Nigeria, so that it will be at these his hospitals they will be harvesting these organs and harvesting these eggs. So he will now take us out of the health sector. He invited the leaders in the private health sector and said, okay, look, I'm ready to offer you money to leave the healthcare sector. We told him before the executives of GE that he is mad and insane to demand such a thing.
To leave medical practice.
Then we should leave medical practice, and then he will pay us, no matter the amount of dollars we ask for. So we said, you are mad. We are not going to do that, and to hell with you.
Is that really?
We told him off before the executives of, I was personally present. The lab people, the president and secretaries of the lab, national organization of the lab, laboratory scientists was there. The president and secretary of the pharmacy, community pharmacist was there. And we told him to his face, to his presence, because they were talking on, it was a telecom conference, and then the executives of General Electric were there at their headquarters in Abuja. So we told him off that you cannot do that, even with all your money and all your thing, is not going to be possible. Now, since we rejected that offer, he has moved to his second option. Eliminate, kill all these doctors, and then take over the health. And he told us they have already taken off the whole government hospitals. They bought the federal medical centers, they bought the university teaching hospitals. So what is remaining now is for us to get out of business so he can carry out. So these hospitals will become places where foreigners can get organs. It will become places where he will harvest the ovarian eggs, and it will become a killing house for ordinary Nigerians. This is why this is dangerous, and this is why this country must, not just to stop it, not just to ban GMOs, we must call for an international inquiry in which Bill Gates will be brought before the courts of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the International Criminal Court, International Court of Justice. We must bring it the same way Nuremberg trial was done during the Nazi Germany.
Now, are our security agencies aware of this thing that is playing out?
Yes, we have actually written to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's the chief security officer of the country. And of course, all the other agencies, both police, army, and all the also have our submission to the president. And the National Assembly has been well informed, the senators, and then the House members have been informed about this. But it will not be something that will be handled by government alone. The Nigerian people must stand out. This Bill Gates wants to set up this killing.
Okay, him mentioning the fact that it will not be the obligation of Nigerian government alone. He knows what he's saying. Yes, he's actually saying that, yes, that is, if you, he mustn't come out to tell Nigerians that, this is where we are. No. What it means is that the Nigerian government is incapacitated to do anything about it, because these people, they have them in their pockets. They can't actually do anything about it. That is what he mean. That is just the meaning of what he said here. So, just be intelligent. Pick his words. That is the meaning of, because I know for this man to go to this extent, for this man to be speaking like this, it means that this man, he knows a lot. He knows a lot. So that is it. Let's go ahead, Sha.
called his hospitals. We know that firsthand because there is no way he can invest all this money, he can carry out all this program only for Nigerians to get better health. No, this is a killing house. Do you know that the Western countries did this for over 20 years in India and Southeast countries? The same type of thing in a way that they use the lower caste people, the black people of India.
Okay.
And they use them to put out, to take organs, sell organs in all across Southeast Asia. And this happened for 20 good years until a black Indian became the Minister of Health and stopped this activity a few years ago. Now we will not let that happen in this country. We must call for the arrest of Bill Gates and all his cronies in this country, all of them, all the NGOs he's using, and all the individuals that are helping him to carry out this program. The Nigerian people must take that responsibility. It's not a responsibility government alone can. The government can't. The government can. The government of Nigeria cannot do this on their own. So it will mean the Nigerian people, the Nigerian youth, because these slaughterhouses will be the first people to be targeted are the Nigerian youth. We must say no to Bill Gates totality. And he has he is the one manipulating the whole public. You know, we immediately started talking about this. All of a sudden, the children in Kaduna were kidnapped.
Yeah.
Just to divert the attention of the people and say, and then portray the government as is incapable of defending the Nigerian people. By the time we talked about this, all of a sudden now, oh no, there's some obscure imam is now talking about the first lady.
Okay.
These are all diverse.
This is the the tool of the devil, distraction. That is, these people, they know what they are doing. Planned genocide coming out from the pit of hell. This is their plan. You see, just all of a sudden, they will just want to distract Nigerians because this topic is now making, the whole internet. So that is the reason why you that is watching this video, as you are seeing this video, share the video, like and subscribe this video. Like this video, so that this video, because they said, YouTube said when more people are liking the video, the video will go viral. So as you are seeing it, like the video, so that this video will go viral. Because if we depend on our government, these people, they are incapacitated. They can't do anything at all. Because these people, they have them in their pockets. So what we need to do is to at least, first of all, get the information out there so that everybody will know this. Let's just share the information. Get people, millions to have this information first. That is the first thing to do first before any other thing can be done. At least just pass the information.
Tactics. It is the same Bill Gates. He should be brought to justice in Nigeria. We are not going to wait for America. We are going to issue the indictments in Nigeria and call him to answer it. And if he does not answer it, anywhere we see him in the federal government, we will arrest him and bring him to justice. This nonsense must stop. Because somebody is a billionaire, and so what? He is dictating vaccines, he is dictating policies, he is appointing ministers, he is carrying out food policy in Nigeria, he is carrying out health policy in Nigeria. Who is this man? He must be arrested.
Yeah, Prof.
Please, I want to say something. Did you hear him said that he is the one? Bill Gates is still the person that is appointing ministers in Nigeria. This is how far these people have gone. This is how far they have gone deep in Nigeria. They hold Nigeria. Just get their hands off Nigeria and you see Nigeria will be better. They are the ones that manipulated Nigerian election and gave it to Tinubu. And you can see the outcome now. You see where we are now. These are the people that have been holding Nigeria down for how many years now? For decades of time. No development in Nigeria and nothing good comes in Nigeria. It's because of these people. Get their hands off Nigeria. Youths, if you rise against these people and pray to God for God to, take these people's hands off Nigeria, for God to deliver us from the hands of these people, you will now see that Nigeria will be good. Nigeria will be a better place to stay. The problem that we're having in Nigeria presently now is Bill Gates and his cohorts. Bill Gates has IMF that is operating the banking system, controlling the banking system in Nigeria. It's their own. Name it. So we should just make it our focus. Remember, first of all, share this information, share this video, so that people will get to know this genocide, this problem, where our problem is coming from.
Senate, and you copied a lot of international groups, the UN, ILO, the EU, Conference of Bishops, and so many other international organizations. Now, has there been any reaction coming from?
Yeah, there have been different reactions. But as you could see, the Bill Gates charged all his parastatals working for him, the NBMA, the National Biosafety Management Agency. They were all up in arms. The so-called organizations that were set up as proxies for Monsanto, OFAB, and all that, they were all busy abusing me at the National Assembly and writing all sorts of things. But you know, these people are just actors who have been pushed out there by Bill Gates to speak for him. But what we want, the reaction we want, is Bill Gates to answer for himself, to say, yes, okay, look, this is not what I'm doing in Nigeria. Then let us now have the open debate. Let him come to the National Assembly, where he will answer to these charges, and we will go there and let there be a Senate hearing. It happens all the time in America. It happens everywhere. This is a democracy. Let him come. This is not a matter for one obscure lawsuit or anything. Let him come before the people. Say, okay, I've come to Nigeria to help the Nigerian people. Okay, we're now asking, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Before, so everybody will now listen, and then they will use their common sense to figure out the truth. Okay,
now you've called for the arrest of Bill Gates and for his trial.
Yes.
Now, beyond that, what do we need to do to contain this calamity?
Now, the first thing we are going to do,
yes,
as a people,
yes,
we ban GMOs. Okay. Anywhere you see any GMO, don't eat it, don't if possible, get it destroyed. Any GMO that comes your way, they bring it to you for you to eat, you know that it's a GMO product, throw it away. Because you're not eating any food. Food nourishes. Toxins will only kill you. Sooner or later, you will be dead of cancer or any other thing. So why eat it? It's no food. Yeah. So the thing is, you get involved and make sure that your food is not GMO. And then we also discourage everybody around us about GMOs. We don't need them. They said, can you imagine when you say, okay, we are using it to solve the weevils, you know, the insects you see in beans. So those weevils, you can use genetic material, method to actually protect the beans from that. Okay, wait a minute. Do you know we do that? We have been doing that for thousands of years. With 20 naira, 50 naira dry pepper. Yeah. You put it inside that bag, there will be no weevil there. So you are going to run to some genetic material where they will, when they put that genetic alteration, they will also alter the gene for reproduction. They put epicide, Monsanto epicide gene. If you eat that beans, you will not reproduce.
It sterilizes
you automatically. So there is no more procreation in Nigeria. We will extinct our population, and the people are coming here to take over this land. This is the plan, and it is
actually the plan. But as you can see, these people, what they are doing, Bill Gates and his cohorts, these Westerners, these evil, these occultic men, they have no regards for life. Actually, the movement has been reducing the population of the world. That has been their motive, to reduce the population of the world. It has been there. It's not a new thing. It's not a new information to us. We very well know this. But the idea is just, them getting on this harvesting of the eggs of women, so that they can use it to culture, to reproduce, to clone, whatever it is that they want to clone, is for their own advantage. They want to live on earth they don't want to die. they think that, that they are looking for a way to make sure that they can, a kind of, how do I put it, so that they can manipulate nature, so that there is nothing like age. Old age will not come to their side. So them changing their organs will make them to look younger and everything, so that they will defy ordinancy. They will not die, so that they will not, because to them death means going to face the judgment of God. So they want to stay on earth here for as long as they want. They will not die at the expense, at the detriment of poor people. Because as you can listen, as what the doctor said here, he said women harvesting those eggs from women will make them to die in 2 or 3 years time, which means it will make their body to be prone to diseases. It has adverse effect, which these people, Bill Gates and his cohorts, they don't care. These are occultic men. These are wicked men making laws from the pit of hell. These are devil themselves. Sometimes I even wonder whether this Bill Gates, whether he's actually a human being. It is very, very possible that this person is not a human being. He's an alien. It is very, very possible. So you now going to a hospital, you have to be careful, because all these government-owned hospitals, some doctors there are predators waiting to prey on your organ. Can you imagine the kind of law they signed into law in Nigeria? Sometimes you ask, these people, are they human beings? Are they?
It's very discouraging that you see people who say they have attended school and they can't even make out 1 + 1. It makes no sense. How can Bill Gates come to this country, take away our whole natural food we used for thousands of years? Where did you get the experience that your GMO will work? Even the U.S. the Department of Agriculture is telling you GMO does not increase productivity of anything.
Even there in the so-called civilized, they reject it.
Yes, Britain, but Prince Charles is heading the campaign to stop GMOs in Britain. Oh, they don't know what they are doing there. Oh, the whole of Europeans, the Germans, the French, the Russians, the Italians, the Hungarians went every field of the GMO and bumped it down. The Russian president, if you actually are caught distributing GMO in Russia, you will go to 25 years imprisonment to life imprisonment. And if there is contamination of 1% with GMO gene, that means somebody some 10 miles away planted something that is GMO, and the insects got in touch with your own plant. That's contamination of 1%. You cannot export into the European Union. You cannot export into most of the countries. So that means the GMO food can never earn you any foreign currency.
Okay.
So what sense does it make?
Okay, Doc, finally, let me ask this question. Now, to what extent are Nigerian doctors aware of this development?
Yeah, we are briefing people, through both individual, through platforms, through different methods, making sure that people realize the danger. A lot of Nigerian doctors are aware, and they are taking the necessary personal precautions, which I cannot reveal here, which is necessary for them. But more importantly, we want a more proactive way. So we inform other people, because if people know of this and reject all the nonsensical things from Bill Gates, not one thing Bill Gates has done in this country that is useful, none, including his involvement in the so-called prevention of this disease or that disease. Rubbish things that don't even make medical sense. So we must reject and kick him out of this country with all his organizations and parastatals that he's supporting. And until this country does that, this country will never come to life. It's not possible. All these are problems, both economic. He uses the economic. He will use the World Bank. He will use the IMF to put pressure on Nigeria. The youth of Nigeria must take on the campaign to throw this guy out with all his organizations and all those people working for him in this country, throw them out of this country so that we can have some life. You see what the Malians have done. See what all the Nigerians have done. See what all the Burkina Faso people have done. This is the country also. Niger Republic today is the fourth fastest growing economy in the, we don't have to do any coup. We still follow our democratic process. We still follow our governance structure, but we now reject what is evil. We reject it because the Malians discovered that where the French were occupying, was where most of the terrorism was taking place.
Yeah.
So they now, when they kicked the French out, the terrorism stopped. So that's what we have to do. So in this place, we kick out Bill Gates and all his multiple organizations, and this terrorism will vanish. They will not even have 3 weeks in this country because they can't sustain it. They live on, they are hired assassins. They are hired killers. So they have to be paid every month. And the billionaire, before he pays them, you have to show him evidence that you are killing people. That's what is happening. He's paying them 10,000 every month. Though they are big officers. So why wouldn't they kill people? And these are people coming from Libya, from all these conflict-prone countries in Africa, where you have active mercenaries. So I think the correct thing to do is for the youth of Nigeria to carry on the campaign and create awareness both among themselves and across the country, so we can kick out Bill Gates out of this country. He is the origin and source of every amount of terrorism and evil that is going on in this country.
At least you people, you've had it, right? You've had it. Kick Bill Gates. This is the origin of our problem. All the whole atrocities that has been happening in Nigeria is coming from this man. It's coming, not just him, because it's not only Bill Gates. Bill Gates and his cohorts. All the atrocities in this country is coming from these people. Kick them out and Nigeria will be free. So this information, make sure as you're hearing this, as you're watching this video, make sure you share it, like and share the video. It is very, very important. It is very, very important. The youths of this country must be aware of what is going on. Thank you very much, and please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, because in this channel, this is the kind of content, this is kind of things that we expose to, to your knowledge, to change the idea of things you see, so that you can be able to understand the things the way they are, not actually the way they want you to see it, but the way it's actually the truth behind it. So make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, and God bless you. See you on the next one. Thank you.